Greetings, Dumelang, Chobela, Makosi. This is our story. Our story is based on a true story. This is Unpopular Opinion. Welcome, Makosi, Ndlovukazi, Phunyuku. I'm Thau Haramanuba, and we are Bantu Soul Society. Welcome, Ndlovukazi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the lovely welcome. I've always heard about Unpopular Opinion Synod, so I'm finally here.
Yeah.
I'm Makosi Phunyuku Ndlovukazi. So I'm excited to be here. So let's see how unpopular our opinions will be.
Well, let's talk about spirituality and sexuality. People usually say they spend a whole lot of time trying to separate spirituality from sexuality.
Interesting. A lot of people avoid talking about sexuality because they think sexuality as sex, a dirty thing. But there is a big link between sexuality and spirituality. Sexuality is spirituality, is spiritual. Because if you are going to engage with someone sexually, that's you spiritually, that's you, your being, your whole being. You're present holistically, your mind, your body, your soul. And I don't know why people cannot understand which it's the same thing and they linked.
Yeah, actually, you're bringing me to this point that human beings are created sexually.
Yep.
So no one is vomited into existence or spoken into existence. Human beings are created sexually. Natural origin of man is man. So human beings are sexual beings. So sexuality form part of our spirituality as human beings are spiritual beings. Yeah. So the avoidance of speaking about sexuality within the spiritual space, what do you think might be the cause?
As a mother, when you have children reaching a certain age where you can talk about sex with them, one of the things you learn as a mother is that don't think umntwana will visualize what happens sexually. So I think that's why most people fear talking about sexuality, because they start visualizing everything that happens intimately and they avoid it, and they're really running away and not talking about it from a spirituality, because they link spirituality as a pure thing, as a holy thing. And then if you're going to add a religion to it, then they make it like it's a dirty thing.
If you're going to add sexuality to it.
Yes. Then they'll say it's a dirty thing. So I think that's why most people don't talk about it. And we need to talk about it, because this is why you find young girls, young boys engaging sexually with people, collecting these spiritual ties, these spiritually transmitted diseases, because they're engaging with people sexually who are not on the same spiritual level, without understanding what do you get out of that person, because you become one.
Yes.
So
there is a tendency to overlook the spiritual aspect to sexuality. Actually, it reminds me of one of the African ancestors of the ancient Nile Valley high culture, what is commonly referred to as Kemet. They evolve a very complex spiritual system. And that complex spiritual system had the human body as a map of the heavens. Like when you talk of Ntu, which the Greeks call Nut, is a sky goddess. They show this in the artistic depictions, in the Meduneta, the what they call hieroglyphics, which is a picture writing. They show this woman who's bending over the heavens. And actually they say the heavens represent the belly of a woman. The heaven is the womb. Heaven is between the legs of the woman. Heaven is between the thighs of the woman. That where we are incubated is heaven. So heaven, the first physical representation of heaven as a spirituality, as a spiritual entity, is the physical body of our mother.
Yes, that's why I see Nzala Bantu, and that's why as women we're supposed to try as much as we can not to collect these sexual partners, because we need to understand what stays here.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual thing.
thing.
Iyahlala yakhele, and it becomes this thing
Mhm.
that you can't even control yourself as a woman because it's a spiritual
Ritual
thing.
imprint is
Imprint,
print. Yeah,
yes.
it's left the imprint there.
Mm.
It's, quite profound coming to think of it. So it's like this symbol here, the ankh.
Mm.
It is commonly defined as this representing the womb, the fallopian tube, the male principle. And of course, others will say, no, that can't be. It means you're carrying sexual organs with you all the time. But sexual organs, sexual principle was never a problem. The very central to the story of resurrection in ancient Kemet is the missing penis of Osiris. He's missing thing. His brother Set killed him, cut him 14 pieces, threw them away. When Isis went to collect them to resurrect him, and then one piece was missing, which is the phallus, which then they made a replacement of it, which today it stands there in America in Washington Square. That thing they call the Cleopatra's needle is basically the penis.
Yeah.
So it's the highest symbol of the American monument. But you take it to the Western system that is obsessed with sexuality, the shape of the bomb, the shape of the bullet, the shape of because for the European, the male is a sexual aggressor.
Yes.
So they have this thing that when the male organ enters the woman, it's like an aggressor entering a cave and being aggressive and all of that. But it's different from African holistic sexual understanding, because for the Africans is that how do you say a man entering a cave and getting beaten by so many women in the cave that he's the sexual aggressor? Because there are a lot of muscles there that do the beating, you know? So shying away from speaking about sexuality within the spiritual space, I think is more, not I think, but I know it is mainly influenced by colonial religions, which are mainly religions created by insecure men to oppress women.
Yes.
So therefore, and one of the things they try to suppress is the sexual spiritual power of the woman. That is why if you go in the very dawn of our history, you always find women as goddesses. They assess feminine creative principles. So I concur with you that there must be spiritual sexual education within our own home. We're not creating imaginary stuff in the minds of our children, but we are, because we have left that education to the society, to the school.
But the society is not doing justice to it. They just high level. They're not touching on the spirituality that is tied up to sexuality. And I think that's why, like I said earlier, you'll find young girls who just throw themselves at anyone and anything without thinking of the bigger picture of how the spirituality gets linked to it. And then they get to a certain stage where they're adults now, they want a different life for themselves to grow spiritually, and it's not there because this whole area has just been taken over by different energies and you're struggling with the spiritually transmitted diseases, which you can't easily get rid of. And you touched on something earlier about the holistic male and female relationships. Holistically, if you break down the word holistically, that's you from head to toe. Ukubuwena, who you are, you know. As Umakosi Phunyuku, do I understand myself from head to toe? Do I understand if I'm going to engage with someone sexually, there's nerves that work from here to there. And that's how you get to experience full spiritual sexuality. And that is, it ties up to why at the end of every relationship, we always say to people, break those soul ties, do cleansing, because you need to remove that energy of that person. But then if you have multiple partners, you're in trouble.
Yeah. So Black love and Black couples in a spiritual space.
Sure. I love love. I love being loved. I love loving. And it's so unfortunate that I don't know how it started, when it started, but it's almost like Black people didn't know how to express love. As a Black couple, a Black man and a Black woman, it's like we were not, I think we never saw it at home. We never saw our parents being affectionate to one another at home. So we only know it, Kubo, the bold and the beautiful. And it's always a different race. So amongst us Black people, Black love would be what? Your parent giving you money for Okera, your father buying your mother something, it ends there. But from the romantic side of it, we don't understand the Black love. So it's a new thing that we, the youngsters, are pushing in, but are we pushing it the right way? Because then it starts with a man, Black man, understanding his responsibility, Guti, he's the head of the family, and the woman is the head of the home, because that's part of promoting Black love.
Well, I wouldn't entirely agree with that. Black people did not understand love until the Bold and the Beautiful and Valentine's happen. We have, within the Bantu, we have 22 secret and sacred laws of love. So we had laws of love that distinguish between this kiss and this kiss here. And this kiss is commonly used. You get ladies who just meet and just kiss, or a man who just meet a woman and just kiss. But if you go to our 22 secret and sacred laws of love, they are defined in a particular way. Like, for instance, we call the bed where men and women sleep. We call the love mate.
Okay.
Now, as a love mate is one area that you're not supposed to argue there. You don't fight there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't take your argument to the love mate.
Yeah.
Go to ka Setswana ba re, a married woman sleeps naked.
Of
So
course.
that ntate bosigo a re mmetso ga re robale go tsogiwe go robalege go ska ba le di-issues.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but umakoti doesn't take pajamas to bed. Interesting, I was looking at the other thing. One lady was like, ladies, if manifuna ukushada, ningawugqoki uphethe, yabo. I saw it on TikTok 2 days back. She went on and on and on. Okay, I know it was a jest of some sort and one, but there's an element of truth that comes from our culture, because I'm trying to talk of it in the context of we were not completely unconscious of love. It's just that because we were colonized in totality, we tend to even express love in a Eurocentric way.
Yeah.
Hence, you hardly get some among our people, you hardly get somebody proposing a woman ka mother tongue ya hae, or ke a o rata, ke o rata kudu kudu. You find like, no, I love you. It's like,
But that's coming back now.
yeah,
That's coming back now.
yeah, bukuyakuthanda.
Hey, ufuna ukushelwa ngesiZulu, ufuna ukushelwa ngeSpedi. That's coming back now. Our brothers are getting,
Back to the roots.
back to the roots. What you mentioned earlier is the fact that one of the 22 love
secret and secret.
They need to be published.
Secret lot of.
They need to be published. We're tired of the love languages.
That is from foreign to us.
Yes, so we need to hear those 22 and practice them. And as young women, throw it out there to the young adults that are coming up so that they understand and they start practicing, because we're promoting African spirituality. And you also mentioned, Guti, they always say one of the laws was you don't fight in the bedroom. But is it the bedroom or the bed?
You fight is the bed, because the bed is in the bedroom, right?
But think about it, when you were a child and your parents are fighting to run away from the kids,
yeah. Actually, let's put it within context. You're actually making a very important point. It's on the bed, because they talk about the love mat, like no fighting on the love mat. Okay. But then you can fight in the bedroom. Okay. But when you fight in there, when you go to the bed, it must be finished. That's pretty bad. So it means that is why they will say, take your argument to your bedroom. Don't fight in front of the kids.
Yeah.
Don't make your kids aware of that. But one of the additional thing also is like in the hour of silence, which is midnight, which is the hour of the ancestors. No argument also at all. This thing that people will be arguing in the middle of the night and say, wake up.
Vuga silwe.
Now we can't be discussing mamsik at 12 midnight.
Exactly.
No,
you can't.
Yes. So Black love, Black couples in a spiritual space is important because the people who work together, pray together,
Yes.
live together, love together, makes it even easier than
does.
to have these office space, workspace romances that are all over the place and messing up people.
No, it does. Think about it logically in your own life. If you are connected with your person spiritually, that means ancestors are also there. Whatever you wish for yourself, you wish for your person.
Yes.
No one is doing any spiritual thing on their own. You in sync, you do everything together. And that's how you get more blessings, because you can't have me ngiphahlela abami ngicela for whatever, but leaving you out.
Yes.
And as we know, amadlozi, they love promoting family, ingane and whatever. So if mina ngizoza ngiyi-one ngingathandazeli umuntu wami, ngingaceleli okuhle for umuntu wami, your ancestors as unkosikazi wakho, they're looking and thinking, hayibo, kanti inkomo sizikhiphele bani for what? Because I'm not coming there with you. And as history has shown, I've grown up seeing that it's mainly abo mama who run and take yiba kade bagcwele emasontweni, yiba kade bagcwele whenever there's things going on endlini, they are the ones to run to seek help. But it's so beautiful to be in tune as a couple, pushing that spiritual black love, no two. Number no two. Man, niyohlola no two. Know what's happening spiritually. Because I can't come home ngukutshele ukuthi, oh, bathe mele senze this and that, and you'll be like, why mina ungahambanga nami? And the ancestors, they're watching this, they're thinking, umakho Phunyuku usicabangela one and whatever. And my ancestors might be thinking, lo mkhwenyana akanandaba. So sizobheka umntanethu. So that's important. And I love seeing young couples that are pushing the spirituality thing together. Ngoba I mean, the family, the kids, they understand ukuthi ekhaya kuyaphahlwa, ekhaya sikhuluma nabadala, ekhaya we chasing this one thing. Not omunye uyale, because then.
Yeah. So basically we are saying having your own traditional healer, I have my own traditional healer, as black couples is a source of argument.
It is, because amanye amahila don't have, are not discreet. Abanye, they will come and tell me, but umyeni wakho wenza 1, 2, 3. When abakutshele 1, 2, 3. But like, part of being in a black love relationship is to promote union. Build, not break anything.
Actually, it's a cooperative affair.
Exactly.
As opposed to competitive affair.
Yeah, so you get there, bankuza no two, but you know, they advise you together. Banjalo utoke when this is your part of whatever you're supposed to do. This is your part. If nienza no two, it will be fixed quicker. So if nienza new one, it's not going to be fixed.
Yes, it's not going to be fixed.
No, it's not.
So the message we're actually sharing here is that let black couples, black families, let's pray together, consult together, work together, solve the problems, particularly spiritual problems together. And then we don't find ourselves coming with two different solutions, because now the other one come from their sangom and the other one come from their prophet.
Exactly.
And they are talking past each other. They're not talking to each other. So it creates a serious conflict. And
you must remember, if in number no two, that already shows that you are in unity. Because part of Ogwaka and Ukala Umdeni is to do together. It's not the plan yoguti zoshata sense or whatever. But at some point, you don't want that.
So basically, the expected condition of each one having their own different people that they consult with ultimately will lead to separation.
Definitely, because I don't know, you don't know what I'm being told when I go on my own. I don't know what you're being told when you go on your own. And you figure like, hi, Bambi, you argue in the bedroom, you do all these things because actually whatever they told you, but you don't even know how I got to where I am. Because namang jelo would umuntu wako, when's 1, 2, 3. So
yeah. And sometimes they even tell you that is your secret. Don't tell it to anybody.
They do that.
Yeah.
They do that. And, it takes me back to what I was reading earlier, Uguti. Back in the days, African love and spirituality was meant for, and sexuality was meant for production, having children, children who become the culture, the culture that becomes a village, which leads to why they will say that it takes a village to raise a family and children or whatever. So everybody knew ubaba because it's mangifika ekhaya. My aim is ukuzalisa abantwana, and then there goes our village. It grows. And we never spoke about this spirituality links. In fact, other men, I think they were even advised, Gucci, you don't take them everywhere you go. Because but now we're changing that. We're promoting black love. We're promoting spiritual black love. Do things together, go together. Abantwana banbone mpahla nonke, banbone nenza everything together, and you'll see how your marriage, your relationship changes.
So we're saying, basically you're saying black love and black couples is a holistic African relationship, which is based on cooperative affair than competitive affairs, based on building.
It is.
It
is.
No, that is quite clear. And let's talk about black holistic power couple. We are always told about power couples, and then you'll be seeing them, others having matching outfits and all of that, how can you explain black holistic power couple? That is, in the context of holistic, you're explaining that is both holism and completeness.
Yeah.
Complete and whole and holy.
So the interesting thing about this, when you get married, you are told as a woman, uznigela kulendota, fully holy, who you are, what you are, uznigela kuye. So that's part of the holistic relationship with Moya Lapayana, and you spending time with your husband, you building this home. There's no doubts about anything. You're there fully present from head to toe. Spiritually, you're present, your mind, your soul, everything. And that's why even the sexuality that's high on spirituality is different, because you connect on a different spiritual level with your person, because you're both present. And I'm loving what I'm seeing now with the young couples. They start with matching outfits. The romance starts there. I'm like, okay. You dress the same as me, we go together. And it encourages me to start saying, okay, let's exercise spirituality. So let's do this. And there won't be this thing of when we have to be sexually intimate, which I'm feeling like, because I get you. We're spiritually inclined. I even know what you're thinking. I feel what you're feeling before you even say it. Because between your ancestors and mine, some of the things that you might do, this is the thing, because we connected from head to toe holistically. Now it's the same thing. When I don't have to tell you, today I'm not in the mood, I don't feel like it. You'll see in the way I look at you, my energy. And that's where people don't understand. Spirituality is energies. And romance starts just looking at each other.
Black men, black woman, black power couple, let's tie their shoes when they are untied. Let's open a door for them.
Let's hold my handbag while I'm holding other things.
Hold the handbag too. Are we not pushing it now?
No, you're not.
And when we forget to hold the handbag, are we not getting reprimanded?
No.
That you're not romantic?
It must just flow. It must just flow. All these things must flow. I don't have to, I'm holding the handbag, I'm holding umntwana, I'm trying to do this. Do something, and it's effortless. And when you have that link of spirituality, everything is effortless. You won't even notice yourself ubambi handbag. No matter like this. You won't even notice.
You remind me of in 1994, after the 1991 Beijing conference. Remember the feminists and the women's rights and the 50-50 narrative when it started. There was a big conference in Beijing, a women's conference. So when the women were starting to say something, they were like, oh, Beijing. Hey, Beijing conference. But then there was this poster about gender equality. they have a black man there with his walking stick, and the woman carrying a big thing on the head and a baby in the back, and then written the "Hatisa wansati wangwini." Like, hurry up, my wife, you know. So they've written there that inequality ends with you. So they make it look like inequality has characterized the black life. That the black life had all this unromantic, unequal, and all of this. But I say it's a result of apartheid. You know, apartheid was a cruel system that our fathers get slapped at work there. They come home, they slap the mother. The mother, they slap the children. So they're creating this vicious circle of slapping around. Because holistically, in African holistic relationship, we were not even beating the children. This thing of corporal punishment being banned is not a result of a democratic system. I'll tell you, with the evolution of the society, when Africa was ruled by the great mothers of the nation, that is women above the age of 40, who were all spiritualists and so forth. One of the things that was forbidden in this continent was corporal punishment. Because then they say corporal punishment, it hardens you. It makes you stubborn, you know. So they had a way, of course, to mete out punishment. Like, for instance, imitate our loss of Abantu. They were having consequences, like, Oskakopa letswai go next door. What's going to happen? Ubulela baloi munyako. Oskar hamsa basadi ba fiela bo dutse mo, and then they sweep on your feet. What's going to happen? You're not going to marry. Ungadlelwe epotweni. Kuzoyenzakalani is going to rain during your marriage. So there was consequences, although the consequences were magical. Like something magical will happen. It will rain in your wedding day.
Forgetting what it's a raining season.
So basically what we had is there was a way to regulate good behavior. And that way was not corporal punishment. It was not all of these things. And we had a balanced society. I mean, the Nguni talk about man is the head of the homestead, and the woman is the head of the family. Indoda inhloko yomzi, umfazi inhloko yekhaya. Ekhaya lakho umzi wami. You know. So this inequality, as they portrayed, was a result that happened with this harshness, was a result of apartheid colonialism, was a result of the mistreatment that the fathers were getting from the workplaces.
See, you touch on that. That's why I don't understand the 50-50 thing. Because if I'm bringing 50%, what happens to my other 50%? Where is it going? I don't think it was thought through, because now women are taking it literally. Gucci, I'm definitely on, and it's almost like women are counting the 50%. My issue is what happens to the other 50%. Goba, because women don't understand their role as wives, going back to that black love, that holistic relationship, black relationship. The only way they can punish men with the other 50% is by depriving them of that holistic black relationship. Because they can't deprive men financially, because most of the time men are the ones that provide financially. So mina ngizokuthola sexually, ngizokuthola by not doing my other female duties. That's where my 50% is.
Yes, okay. You're withholding your 50%.
I'm withholding, and the only way I can do it as a woman is by depriving you of that black love. I'm not gonna give you the full
black love
experience of black love. Instead, I will be always bashing you, Gucci, awenzi this and that and that. But as a woman, you're supposed to help your men with that black love, because some of these black men, our brothers, don't know what it's like to be loved.
So 50% is being weaponized.
It is, and
the
it's sad that it's our sisters that are
weaponizing the 50.
Weaponizing it.
Okay, so it's very interesting because it brings the concept of indoda must. Tell us about that indoda must. Is having an element of one, expectations, an element of entitlement.
Oh yeah. The transactional relationships.
The transactional relationship.
Becomes that.
Yeah. So let's talk about transactional relationship versus transformational relationship.
Again, it's women that do the transactional. Because they are the ones that will come and enter into a relationship with this is what I want. It's clear, these are my expectations. So indoda must. And because it's a transactional, I'll do enough to get what I want. I want a Gucci handbag. I know I just have to do 1, 2, 3, and you buy me the handbag.
Gucci,
and then after that, what happens is when I want Gucci shoes.
Yeah.
So that's transactional. And it's clear. And I can't go back to you as my man who doesn't understand Black love. And you can't even talk to me as a Black man, convincing me as a Black woman how to love you, because some of our Black women are still angry at some of, our Black brothers for not loving them enough. But you teach people how to love you. But not you, because we're dealing with our own issues. Nale 50-50, we're thinking, if you don't do this, I also won't do this. So it ends up being that.
Yeah. So basically, these other 50%, these 50s are not so balanced.
No,
the other
not.
50 is full of expectations, entitlement, and then the other 50 is expecting that this 50 must meet the demands, and they call them standards. Somebody who is born in a family where there is no car, and then she said, I want a guy with a car.
Instead of getting it for yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah.
So basically, they expect you to get them what they can't get themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, get me what I can't get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to Africa, where you have to be rich to date a broke woman.
But you see, and then you get the other relationship, the transformational.
So it's transformational.
Yeah. Those are the best relationships. And I think that's why back in the days, you'd get people that meet at school. Bakhule bonke, and they get married in the early 20s. Those were transformational marriages because there were no expectations. Sikale sonke, sa plan at the future together. Everything we did together. Ngiyakhulisa, uyangikhulisa. And now let's throw in spirituality into it. Let's blend in sexuality. And you get this best thing.
Yeah.
But now, Guzanam, Asley Queens, and whoever else who believes in transactional, because they don't believe in that Black love. They don't believe in the forever after anymore. They don't believe Gucci Ndlovukazi can just love you just for you. Yeah. And you as a woman can just love your men for who they are. There's always, but they always think the strings are attached somewhere.
Yeah. Actually, is the basis of commodifying the woman.
Yeah.
It's making the woman commodity, because then you become one of the things that I own. Like I own a car, I own a house, I own you, and you're Gucci's, and you're everything. And there's always this thing that I'll have to remind you that, okay, but
you see, that's what women forget. It works for them limited time. Transactional works for them. When the man flips it and treats you like a transaction. Angabuye ekhaya, akhuluma now anyhow, ends all these things. It's like, hey, remember who you are.
Yeah.
So it becomes a twist. So I think with everything you decide to do and what you want to be labeled as in a relationship, always know the side effects, always know the consequences, because you can't be in a transactional relationship and think it's going to bliss. You're going to grow old together.
Yeah.
One day that man will find, in fact, it's a big thing now where you've been in a relationship with someone for 15 years, angakshadi or whatever, because I think you're in a transactional relationship, and boom, ahlangane nomakhosi Phunyuku after 3 months, kisha malobolo, and you're thinking, how? But you forget what you were the transaction. Now
so you're busy chawing your lobola there.
Yes. Now uthole ubambo lwakhe, uthole ozothi yebo baba, no baba, ozomsulela igqathulo, ozomayinela, ozoyenza all these things without expecting anything. That also appreciated the little things ubaba does. Ozoba na this thing yokuthi, okay, mina I've got the car, I've got this and that. When I bring this and that, boom, it's complete.
Siyakhulisana.
Yes.
Actually, that is how abantu bakudala bebashela ngakhona. They were not making emphasis on love. They were making emphasis on, come, let's build together.
But then you fall in love while you're building.
Exactly. I mean, love was always there. Yeah. It's because how do you build with someone you don't love? Love is the emphasis wasn't love. Like you see the Eurocentric system is so mad. At one time it emphasized love.
Yeah.
And now they're no more emphasizing love. People are telling that love is not enough.
Yeah.
Love. So we keep on going.
Love doesn't pay bills.
Love doesn't pay bills.
Yeah.
So we keep on adjusting to these dysfunctional European psychological tendencies of love.
But Maubega, all those things moving about loveness, it's moving us further away from where we're supposed to be. Because once you go back to that mindset, you go to love is not enough. You'll never get yourself back and actually love and experience love for what it is. Ukuthi umuntu can just love you and want to grow old with you. And it's got nothing to do with what's in there for me. What are you giving? We're growing together.
So we set up preconditions for love.
Yeah.
And then we sell it. A European philosopher by the name of Karl Marx, he, in analyzing the European society, what they call modes of production in Marxism and all of that, which is basically the evolution of society. One of the things he talked about marriage is that marriage is a legal prostitution. That any transaction that involves marriage with expectation, that involves sex with expectation, is prostitution. Now, it reminds me of this. There is this saying, they always say that, indoda ethi maye emsebenzini ifonela umama ekhaya ethi yazi mama ngikhumbulile namhlanje, but how do you miss me when school fees asingabhadelwa, ifriji empty, what, and then indoda ifonele side chicks ethi is massage manje.
Yeah, let's take the stress out.
Let's take the stress out. So umama has replaced the love and the intimacy with all that, with all the expectation. So it becomes, you can only talk about sexually today or after you've paid school fees.
Yeah.
The fridge is full and all of that. Otherwise, you don't have the right to be turned on.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you don't.
Wow.
And that's also wrong. And that's where the women use the other 50%. Banbamba lapho ukuthi fridge empty, school fees is not paid, and ufika like hi ufuna ukungibamba no.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So this European man was quite correct when he say marriage is a legal prostitution, because I thought it was correct in a Western context of a marriage, but now because of Africans who are also practicing Western marriage, it becomes now our new reality. Within that context. And I think this is where we are missing the point. The more we're adopting things where we say it's civilization, it's modernity, and we go on and say, our elders did not know love. Our ancestors did not know love. They were not even allowed to do this or that to express love and all. And we have extreme definitions and extreme views of our things, which is informed by psychology of self-hate. Sometimes we even say things that were not there, because when you start to realize that I had a grandmother and grandfather who were always like this.
Yeah.
Even when they argue, they're always like this. Half of the time they argue, but you see them doing everything together, walking together, drinking mkomboti together. I never even heard them talking about church or going to church or anything. They'll be doing everything. And even their role were very clear, because when it comes to ukpahla, the grandmother was just taking a lead. We all know that. When it comes to inoculation, okkawa, the roles were clearly defined. So it was not all dark and gloom in our African past.
But you see, it goes back to what I was saying. As a woman, you had to understand your role. As much as ubaba sekhaya leads, allow yourself to be led, but understand ukuthi mele ube submissive for what to what, and you're able to be led without questioning anything. Everything is effortless. And khulumisani, but ukuthi inkonzo yasekamereni, you can't deprive that. Kumele upheke, because you can't decide just because you're not going to cook. And
you don't use your natural responsibility
you don't.
As a weapon.
No, and that's where women go wrong, and that affects the Black love, because now our Black brothers don't see that. Because China, we use it more as a weapon. We use that power in Zalabantu yetu as a weapon. I mean, an extension of that is how abo baby mama treat their baby daddies with the transactional baby daddy thing. If you don't pay for maintenance, if you don't do this, you can't see your child.
Exactly.
So that's
they're weaponizing.
They weaponize everything.
So it's quite interesting. This distinction of transactional relationship versus transformational relationship. And you remind me of a fundamental relationship between the mother and the daughter-in-law. Their relationship is that the mother-in-law say, "This is my son, I gave birth to him."
Yeah.
And then the daughter-in-law said, "This is my husband, I give birth for him." So they are all connected by birth.
Yes.
The role of birth, that I birthed him and you birthed for him.
Yeah.
So is that cooperative, foundational African holistic love that we need to understand that part. And as a result, we will not have a conflict between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, because each one will understand their role in the life of this man, that I gave birth to him and then you give birth for him. So together we are connected by birth.
And it's so true, because it's a fine, but it's that if umama understand the role they play and where it ends, they give the daughter-in-law a hard time in their marriage.
Yeah.
And you as a daughter-in-law, you retaliate all the time because you're thinking, "Hi bo, umzalile ngiyamkhulisa and ngizokhulisa nengane zakhe," and then it becomes that, and then it affects the black love again.
Yeah, you know, it comes to what you're saying, weaponizing the 50%. Because even here we still have the 50%. You know, the mother's 50, the daughter-in-law 50.
He's got 100.
He's got 100
Yeah.
that is receiving from the mother and the daughter-in-law, the wife. But now it's a question of the usage of that 50.
Yeah.
Whether you use it positively, then it becomes transformational.
Yes.
Whether you use it negatively, it becomes transactional. This is when you come in and then you come in to visit the in-laws. When Mama Zala opened the door, they look, what is behind you, you know?
Yes. Are you coming empty-handed?
Are you coming with abantana betu? Or uzawet? And then when you're coming alone, they're asking, "Can't you hamba nobody?" You know, because now they don't see their offspring. So they can't just welcome you like that. "Oh, ma go to vakashi." And they're expecting to be you being followed by the children behind.
But now I have to ask you, as a black man, what role do you play in grooming the young black men, teaching them about black love? What would you say is important?
Well, now you're asking me, right? Yeah. So from Bantu Soul Society, which is the Institute of Africanity and the Community of African Spirituality, as you are well aware that every Sunday we have a African Spirituality Sunday on TikTok Live, whereby from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we're focusing on rebuilding, repairing, rejuvenating ourselves. This last Sunday, we were focusing on unconditional black love, that we need to instill the unconditional black love that has no such attachments, that has no such expectations, that has no such transaction, that does not carry with it that. And talking within the context of the 22 secret and sacred laws of love, that as a black people, we are hated by almost everyone. And therefore we have ourselves to ourselves. There is no European solution to African problems.
True.
It's only African solution to African problems. And that comes in a sense of, what do we do to create that space that offer us a love that no one can give to us, whether on the basis of racism, class, religion, creed, or whatever. And now this is where we're creating these spaces like Bantu Soul Society. We are having our retreat in September. Up to so far now in our Bantu Soul Society WhatsApp group, we have about 30 people confirmed. 30 people, 20 something.
And you're promoting black love there.
Yes, and we'll be focusing on black love, unconditional love that we need to give to one another. Because you see, it can't be correct that we are found to be a statistics of everything. You know,
Yeah.
when people talk about ischito, we are number one. You never hear
women
white
are
women
the-
talking about ischito. No. You don't find us. We can't be number one in self-hate.
Yeah.
We can't be number one in self-rejection. We can't be number one in conflicts among ourselves. Most people, we're complaining about the world run by selected families. And we complain about South Africa being run by 9 families or whatever families that form part of the ruling class that control the ruling party or the ruling political parties that are in this country. So now we need to understand that that black love is our responsibility to nourish it, to advocate it, to practice it. Albeit that is not easy, because we were conditioned into individualism and selfishness, but we need to instill it among our people if we are going to go anywhere else. Marcus Garvey have a saying that we must have a love of the race, but that we must be willing to do for ourselves what others have done for themselves. When the Europeans come to colonize us here and take our resources, it is out of the undying love of their people. You see, America is taking all the oil around the world, the bombing countries, and taking their oil and going to sell it cheap to their own people in their own country. You have one American soldier or American citizen get killed here, or 2 of them get killed here or arrested. America will come and bomb this whole place. It's their undying love for their own people. But do we have the same for our own people? You see? So in answering what you are saying is that it's a work in progress. It's not an easy thing, but it's something that we are working on to put in some institution in place, activities in place, because one of the things we need to do is also family-based activities. Somebody was asking about that spiritual retreat, that is children allowed to come through? Yes, of course they should be allowed, because we can't just talk about the love that is only the love of adults and don't have it manifested in the children. You said it very well that holistic relationship produce technology, which is the children that produce culture. So if anything is not being able to pass on to the next generation, it is bound to die.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you on that black love, grooming the young black men.
Yes.
And I really do hope we need more black men understanding black love, how to love their black woman. And we need our black woman to loosen up a bit, Stop holding grudges. Stop. They must just loosen up.
Yeah, there's a lot of grudges. There's a lot of keeping record of wrongs, keeping of record of wrongs. We spend a lot of time in saying what you did to me instead of what are you doing to me, and even understanding how do we keep on building that. Like I was saying, that traditionally when abantu bebashelana, it was come utopipa magole arena, you come to cover our deformities.
Yes.
You're coming to beautify our ugliness. You are not coming. That is why there will be a saying, or bona, if the in-laws baya papa ebusuku papa nabo wabona, if ba lawyer nabo.
You ask, what time do we fly?
Yeah, you ask him, Mama Zala, are we still flying today? Yeah, so it's a metaphor. It's not necessarily talking about literally flying, but it's just saying that when you come into this family, that you are brought in to help build it. You build it unconditionally with love, and then in return you will also get yours, unless if your contribution and your love is rejected, it's something else.
But there's still a lot to be done towards black love, and it starts with families and addressing our mental states, our emotional wounds, spirituality, because all those 3 things are aligned. I find a lot of black people are still in denial about one's mental state. What happened in the past and whatever. We're still bleeding and wounded from it.
Yeah.
So we need to learn to talk about it. And I'll have women saying that a man cannot express how they feel. And that's where it blocks them from loving.
Actually, one of the culture that is tradition that is guilty of that is my Bapedi tradition. Like you internalize, you bottle your emotions. But then it creates a problem when you start to have emotional outburst, because you are wounded and you are covering your wound. You are keeping on this straight face. But also it's created by a situation that also, if you're getting men's conference or men's spaces where
Is there a men's conference?
a men's conference is what we created to run away from Valentine's Day.
Sure.
Don't
Man,
they?
I'm still waiting for my. You see, I advocate for men so much,
Yeah.
and they keep telling me you invited to the men's conference.
Conference.
Angagaina manje.
No, but no. This year men's conference, the only people who were invited, they were polygamists and men with beard.
Oh,
They were the ones who were invited to speak. You can't speak if you don't have a beard and you are not polygamist.
oh,
It was the theme of this year by Mzee Kipor of Kenya.
okay.
Secret location. Then last year there was a different theme. And then I think it's got about 4 years it started.
Okay. So it does exist.
It's a virtual, it started virtually, like online. It was a Facebook men's conference when men were running away to comply with the Eurocentric concept of love called Valentine's Day. Then they came up with men's conference. It started on the 13th, it's finished on the 15th.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like Sauwe Sabapedi, you know. Banna ba bapedi ba tshwara ke Sauwe every month end, you know. Udukazo,
Udukanezwe.
Udukanezwe, yabo.
Ukuthuma uyothengisa inkomo ubuye next week.
Ubuya next week, yabo. Or neke tshwere ke Sauwe. And then I try to study the phenomena of Sauwe. That is it real? And then I find that it happened every month end, weekend, yeah, month end. And then this mama decided in the middle of the month, Friday, a tshwara ke Sauwe sa gagwe le ena, wa bona? A tsamaya, a boa ka Monday. O baba buza to we apara ya kopula le Sauwe sokubamba every month. Simbambile nami. Kwathaba kwabizwa family conference quick. But mama, from today nobody I don't know Sauwe. So what it's a social construct.
It's a social,
yeah. So it's like a men's conference. But men's conference is step by step graduating into a real conference because this is men crying out for a space where they can vent out or heal or whatever, or be vulnerable. But it is still not so safe space because some men you become vulnerable with them, you share your weaknesses, and they go and talk about them out there in a most insensitive way.
But remember, men compete still, eh?
Yeah. Men do compete and men do gossip too. You know?
Oh, yeah. I, as a woman, I think men gossip more than us.
I used to frequent Northwest. One time, but gossiper of it everybody. But I realized that it's just men everywhere. I've got some places around in my casino. You get some men who are seated under the tree there. They gossip about everything. You see? So gossiping is a human nature and it's destructive. It's not only a male or female thing. It's a destructive tendency that we need to leave it. If you're going to have a spaces where we call them men conference, where men are supposed to heal and become better husbands. Because this is the question we have in that there's too much over-empowerment of women. Today that the women are saying, I'm empowered, and therefore it's hard for me to get the relationship because men are intimidated by me and my empowerment. So they take your girl child to school concept to work. Take a girl child to work, but nobody's taking the boy child to work. We're talking about over-empowering of women. Nobody's empowering men for these women. So then you have a large supply of empowered women with less men who will be able to measure, to equal their empowerment. And strange phenomena, you find it among ourselves that we are the only race. I have never heard the white women, the Chinese women or the Arabs or any women of another race talking about I'm independent, I'm single, I'm what? What is it there? The third one, independent, single, and empowered. But something around empowerment. You find it's a strange phenomena that you only find it within our race. You don't get white women talking about that, who are single, who are independent, who are whatever. But you get to the white feminists who are in the feminist movement, who brought us feminism. The white feminist, when she go home, she go to sleep with her husband. And the black feminists go home to sleep alone. Yeah. Or the Ben 10. But
remember, we as women, those again who are not content with their feminism and understanding their role in society, those are the ones who are quick to have this thing with, I don't need a man. They forget with the men may not provide the things that you are independently doing for yourself. But there's other things that the man does. Yeah. You know, there's a reason why there's feminism and there's masculinity. Some women get exhausted of being masculine. They want to be feminine. But they need a man that's going to allow them to be feminine. But where are those men? They are busy saying, "Oh, we can't accommodate you because you are too masculine." But they forget that if they had to just take 2 steps forward, I'll lower my masculinity and allow you to be. I mean, if we're going wherever, no one needs to know Uguti. We living in my house, we driving my car, whatever. I know as your woman, Uguti, you are the one that's buying groceries. You are the one that's doing this. And that's where I have the issue with the 50-50. I might be in the position where I can buy a house, but it's our house because I've created a home for us, for our children. It's our car, but I was able to get the car. But there's still so many things that we as women won't talk about that men do because we put everything, we put the price tag to everything. We put, you know.
And price in terms of material, because
of material.
Yeah, because there can be a spiritual role that man is playing in your life that is priceless, and that you can't put a check on it.
And you know, here's what I have when we spoke earlier about sexuality and spirituality. As Isangoma, I understand the importance of having a husband that supports my spirituality. But you don't get those a lot. Uzozibona uzoba umngoma uyi-1 wena uzophuza umqombothi mina nginamajita uyemgidini ngiyakuphi. It's so beautiful and sexy to have a partner. Mangia as a female ngihambisa male patients ukuyogeza uqubula ibhakede. And bakubona now you actively driving the car for me. Bangathi lesango bazogcina
bangishela. Bazothi umdlisile
and ngiyashelwa.
And then ngapha nini so ukhuluma ngapha umkhulu bani umkhulu bama non-stop abathi uyajola nabo.
Exactly, but if I have you and you not Isango, mangishaya isigubhu, you there ushaya isigubhu. Mangenza amavovo omqombothi, you there carrying that bucket. Mangenza these things, mangihambisa abantu emfuleni, you the one that's driving the buggy. But you not umngoma, but you support what I support. Now mawenza whatever, I'm there. That's promoting black love. That's that holistic black love we're talking about, you know. It extends to that.
Thank you so much, Makhosi. Phunyuku abamphethe Ndlovukazi, talking about black love on Unpopular Opinion. This is our unpopular opinions about love. About
and we agree with it.
And we agree with it.
We agree with it.
We agree with ourselves.
With ourselves.
Yeah, thank you so much.